So here we have a list of 5 non-WCA puzzles that every cuber should try. And here in number 5 we have the Ivy Cube. Now the Ivy Cube is a very simple puzzle, but it has gained a bit of interest in the past few years, specifically in China. And many Western cubers have been wondering why cube brands feel the need to release big Ivy Cubes, magnetic Ivy Cubes, core magnetic Ivy Cubes, even UV coated Ivy Cubes, and apparently we'll soon be getting smart Ivy Cubes. And I think the reason is that the simplicity is being used to teach the very basic techniques of cubing. The idea that you can insert this piece, then insert that piece, then put that piece back and solve it. A bit like how you can take this piece up, put this piece in, and put this piece back to solve a piece in the first layer. This can teach younger and younger children how to solve cubes, and it can be a first step in teaching them so that then they can go and learn how to solve a 3x3 and maybe solve it very quickly. So if you want a really simple puzzle to start with, then the Ivy Cube might be for you. But the reality is, if you're watching this, you probably already know how to solve a 3x3, so the Ivy Cube may just be a bit silly for you. Here in number 4, we have the Kilominx, or Kilominx, if you go with DG Cube's naming system. It's just a 2x2 version of the Megaminx. Now, this particular Kilominx I've got here doesn't have coloured centres. Some of them do, and you can argue there's a slight difference in the solving if you have a fixed centre to refer to, but it shouldn't make much difference. And the solving is basically just a simpler version of a Megaminx. So maybe if you want to start out on something like this before going on to a Megaminx, you can give it a go. But I think the simple reality is that most people who can solve a 3x3 will figure out how to solve a Megaminx, and then maybe at some point they'll get a Kilominx and give it a go. Now, of course, the Kilominx is on the smaller side of Megaminx stuff. You can also go up and get bigger Minx puzzles, such as this Teraminx. There's also a Gigaminx, Petaminx, Examinx, etc. You can watch a whole video about why the naming system of those is terrible and how it could be improved, but the reality is it's not going to be improved, so yeah, you can try giant puzzles like that. In number 3, we have the Mirror Cube, and the Mirror Cube is a pretty well-known non-WCA puzzle. It has different heights of pieces on each side, so instead of differentiating by colours like you would on a normal cube, white, yellow, orange, green, red, blue, you differentiate by the height of the pieces. So here we have the tallest side, and then we have the shortest side opposite, and then in between we have slightly different heights varying from tallest to shortest. And you solve it by comparing the different heights of the pieces and inserting them in just like a normal 3x3. If you can solve a normal 3x3, you should be able to figure out how to solve a mirror cube, but it will require a bit of a different thought process. Now, of course, mirror cubes are not limited to 3x3. We have 2x2 mirror cubes, which again should be easier, although be careful because some of them have a corner which is the same length on each side, and therefore it's not clear if it's twisted or not. And then you can even get mirror scubes, which are potentially even harder than normal scubes because you have to worry about the center orientation. In fact, I think this is technically not solved right now. I think I have to flip this center, which is pretty crazy. I'm not sure if I even know how to do that. And then you can even get 5x5 mirror cubes, and if you really want, you can get even bigger mirror cubes than that. There's a lot of different mirror cubes to try out. And if you're wondering where can I get these puzzles from, well, you can get them directly from me at speedcubing.org. There is an entire section dedicated to non-WCA puzzles, so you can hover over Megaminx Plus, which will include Kilominx's, 8x8 Plus, Pyraminx Plus shape mods, which refers to, of course, mirror cubes, and you can view all of them and see a huge range of non-WCA puzzles. In at number 2, we have big cubes in general, and non-WCA big cubes range from 8x8 and upwards, essentially. The largest commercially available is a 21x21, the largest I stock is a 15x15, but theoretically you can go infinitely large. The largest that's ever been made is Preston's 49x49, which I got to see at the World Championships. But the basic method of solving big cubes is just like, well, not quite so big cubes that they do actually have official competitions for, such as 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, 7x7. You solve the centers, just like that, then you solve the edges, and then it is just a 3x3, except you might get parity. That's it, really. But the reason big cubes make it onto this list is because they're fun to solve. They obviously take a lot longer to solve than normal cubes, but it can be relaxing to just sit down with a large cube and spend a long time trying to solve it, or sit in front of a TV show with a cube in your hand that's a bit quieter than a normal cube and requires slightly less thought all the time, and you don't have to keep scrambling it all the time. You can just sit there for a long time and solve it. Like this one here, which I haven't actually solved all the centers, funnily enough. At number 1, we have the FTO, which stands for Face-Turning Octahedron, and this has gained a lot of interest in the past year since Diane Schenk released their FTO. We've also seen an even better FTO released from Diane, and FTO is Face-Turning Octahedron, and that's because it turns on the faces like this, as opposed to Corner-Turning Octahedron, which is a bit like a Kilominx in its solving, just a bit longer. So FTO is exciting because it combines so many different solving techniques from different puzzles, such as sledging from Scube, kind of a variant of Yao from 4x4 to an extent in the center building, because you have to build one center and then two of the corners and then use the spare corner to solve the other 3 centers. So FTO has grown in popularity in the past year or two and could very easily become a WCA event. So if you want to get in before it does, if you think it might, then why not give it a go now before it does become a WCA event? And if you want to keep your summer ranks up, you're going to have to practice it. You might as well get ahead of the game.